What if I told you that everything you've been taught about success, about what it takes to get ahead, is already outdated? That in today's lightning, fast, unpredictable world, the old rules don't apply, and without mastering just 3 critical skills, you risk being left behind, invisible and visible. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. The gap between those who thrive and those who struggle is defined by these skills. The good news, these skills aren't reserved for a chosen few. They can be learned, sharpened, and mastered by anyone willing to face the truth and step into the future. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover can change everything. The world you knew yesterday is not the world you wake up to today. If you might just miss the seismic shifts shaping your future. This relentless pace is no exaggeration. Technology evolves at an exponential rate. Industries rise and fall overnight. Social norms and expectations are reshaped with each viral moment. The global economy ripples with uncertainty. Political landscapes pivot unpredictably, and the very nature of work is transforming before our eyes. To survive in this whirlwind, to not only survive but to seize control of your destiny, adaptability is no longer a luxury or a nice to have. It is a fundamental requirement. Imagine the days when careers were linear. Go to school, get a degree, find a stable job, climb the ladder, retire comfortably. That model is dead. Entire jobs vanish, replaced by automation and artificial intelligence. Skills once prized become obsolete within years, sometimes months. Industries that flourished for decades can collapse in a heartbeat. The people who succeed are not those clinging desperately to the old playbook, but those who can pivot quickly, learn fast, and evolve continuously. Adaptability is the skill of change itself. It's the muscle you build that allows you to move through uncertainty without breaking. It means not just reacting to change, but anticipating it and embracing it as an opportunity. This doesn't come naturally to most. Our brains crave certainty, patterns, and routines. Change triggers fear, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of loss. But the moment you decide to resist change, you freeze in time while the world accelerates forward without you. Consider the companies that once ruled their fields, but failed to adapt. Once a giant of the entertainment rental world, dismissed the rise of streaming services. Kodak, synonymous with photography for decades, ignored the digital revolution until it was too late. These weren't failures because of lack of resources or talent. They failed because they refused or hesitated to adapt. They treated change as an enemy rather than an inevitable force to harness. On the other hand, companies like Netflix, Amazon, and Tesla succeeded because adaptability was in their DNA. Netflix shifted from mailing DVDs to streaming, and then to content creation, forever changing the entertainment industry. Amazon evolved from an online bookstore to a global e-commerce and cloud computing giant. Tesla pushed the boundaries of automotive and energy technology with bold innovation. They thrive because they welcomed change, looked ahead, and adjusted their strategies swiftly. This lesson extends beyond business. On a personal level, those who adapt thrive emotionally, intellectually, and socially. Adaptability means you don't just survive setbacks or failures. You grow stronger because of them. When a plan collapses, when a career path suddenly disappears, the adaptable person doesn't crumble in despair. They pivot, reframe, and look for new paths forward. They understand that the only constant in life is change itself. Learning adaptability starts with mindset. It begins by shifting your perspective from seeing change as a threat to viewing it as a challenge to solve, an adventure to embark on. It's about developing curiosity, the hunger to explore new ideas, skills, and perspectives. When you cultivate curiosity, you open the door to continuous growth. One of the biggest barriers to adaptability is comfort. Humans have an incredible capacity to settle into what feels safe and familiar. even when that comfort zone is shrinking beneath their feet. You might feel secure in your current skills, your routine, your environment, but the moment the landscape shifts, comfort turns into a trap. Imagine standing in quicksand. When you resist and fight the sinking, you only go deeper. When you move and adapt your approach, you can escape. Cultivating adaptability means embracing discomfort. It means learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is where true growth happens. Every time you stretch beyond what feels easy, you build resilience. You train your mind and spirit to handle uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity. Practical adaptability requires a blend of mental flexibility and emotional intelligence. Mental ability to see multiple perspectives, to hold opposing ideas, and to switch approaches when necessary. It's the willingness to question your assumptions and to revise your beliefs based on new evidence. Emotional intelligence helps you manage the stress and anxiety that often accompany change. It gives you the patience to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively out of fear. Building adaptability also means owning your ability to learn rapidly. The world today doesn't reward static knowledge, but the skill of learning how to learn. This means developing habits like staying curious, asking questions relentlessly, seeking feedback, and being open to new experiences. It's about becoming a lifelong learner who is never complacent, always hungry for improvement. Look at the digital revolution. Those who have embraced new technologies and learned how to integrate them into their lives and work have gained enormous advantages. Those who resist become overwhelmed and left behind. Learning to learn also means being agile in unlearning outdated practices or beliefs that no longer serve you. Adaptability demands that you drop what no longer works, no matter how comfortable or familiar. Another vital part of adaptability is planning with flexibility. This might sound like a contradiction. How can you plan for uncertainty? But the adaptable person plans with scenarios in mind. They prepare for multiple possibilities rather than one rigid outcome. They develop contingency plans and cultivate the mindset that failure is not defeat, but feedback. This approach reduces fear of the unknown because it acknowledges change as a constant companion. The ability to pivot quickly is a superpower. It allows you to respond effectively when plans fall apart or unexpected opportunities arise. The person who clings to the original plan in the face of new information is like a ship stuck on a reef, unable to steer around obstacles. The adaptable person is the captain who charts new courses as the seas shift. Adaptability is also about resilience, bouncing back after setback. It is impossible to predict every challenge or crisis, but developing adaptability ensures you don't get permanently knocked down by them. Instead, you use adversity as a springboard for growth. You learn from mistakes without letting them define you. The psychological studies on adaptability show it correlates strongly with success and well-being. People who score high on adaptability are better at coping with stress, maintaining motivation, and seizing opportunities. They tend to have stronger relationships because they can empathize with others going through change. They experience less anxiety because they don't resist what they cannot control. The neurological basis of adaptability lies in brain plasticity, the ability of your brain to rewire itself in response to new experiences. This means you are literally capable of becoming more adaptable the more you practice it. The brain rewards curiosity, exploration, and flexibility. The more you challenge your mind to think differently, the more adaptable you become. But adaptability isn't just about mental and emotional skills, it's also about taking action. It's easy to say, I want to be adaptable, but the real proof comes in your daily decisions. Are you trying new things? Are you learning new skills? Are you open to feedback and willing to adjust your behavior? Are you moving toward growth or clinging to stagnation? In practical terms, Adaptability requires a hunger for knowledge and experiences beyond your comfort zone. This could mean learning new technologies, developing communication skills, seeking mentorship, or traveling to new places. Every new experience rewires your brain and broadens your perspective, making you more flexible and ready for change. The work environment today is also a laboratory for adaptability. Remote work, global teams, rapidly shifting projects demand constant adjustment. Those who master adaptability thrive in ambiguity and complexity. They innovate faster and find creative solutions others miss. The workplace of tomorrow rewards those who can juggle multiple roles and shift priorities fluidly. Parents and educators are realizing adaptability is the most important skill to prepare the next generation. It's no longer about memorizing facts, but about fostering curiosity, problem-solving, and resilience in young minds. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn will determine their success. But don't mistake adaptability for aimlessness. Being adaptable doesn't mean having no direction or principles. It means having a clear sense of purpose and values, but being flexible about how you achieve your goals. The adaptable person knows what they want deeply, but is willing to change the how to get there. Many successful people have stories of radical adaptation. When Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, he didn't give up. He adapted by starting new ventures, learned from failures, and came back stronger. Oprah Winfrey faced immense challenges early in life, but adapted by constantly learning, growing, and shifting her approach to reach millions. Even in your personal life, adaptability is crucial. Relationships change, circumstances shift, health evolves. The ability to navigate these changes with grace and strength determines your emotional well-being. Adaptability means letting go of rigid expectations and embracing life's ebb and flow. The biggest obstacle to adaptability is fear. The fear of losing control, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown. But when you study the most successful people and organizations, what you see is not the absence of fear, but the courage to move forward anyway. Courage fuels adaptability. It pushes you to take risks, to experiment, and to trust yourself even when the path is unclear. The world today rewards those who move first, who iterate quickly, who learn from mistakes and try again. Waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal plan is a recipe for obsolescence. Adaptability means acting decisively with imperfect information and adjusting as you go. As you embrace adaptability, you build confidence. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything, but from trusting your ability to learn, adjust, and handle whatever comes your way. It's the calm in the storm, the steadiness when everything else is shifting. Your personal narrative changes when you adopt adaptability. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, you see yourself as a creator of your future. Change becomes your ally rather than your enemy. You develop an inner flexibility that empowers you to thrive no matter what the external world throws at you. Remember, adaptability is a skill you practice daily. Each new challenge is an opportunity to stretch, to try a new approach, to learn something unexpected. Over time, these small acts of adaptation accumulate into profound transformation. You become someone who not only keeps up with the world, but shapes it. The speed of change isn't going to slow down. The only choice you have is how you respond. Will you resist, fight, and stay stuck? Or will you lean into the unknown, adjust your sails, and harness the winds of change to propel you forward? The power lies in your hands. When you make adaptability your foundation, everything else becomes possible. You become ready to master the next essential skills, because you know how to change, how to learn, and how to grow. This is the skill that sets the stage for everything that follows. Communication is the invisible thread weaving through every aspect of your life. It shapes how you connect with others, how you influence outcomes, and how you build your world. In today's hyper-connected age, mastering communication isn't just an advantage. It's a necessity that determines your success, happiness, and impact. The way you express your thoughts, the clarity of your message, and the authenticity behind your words are the keys that unlock doors to opportunities, relationships, and influence. And see this, in a world flooded with billions of messages every day, texts, emails, social media posts, video calls, how do you ensure your voice rises above the noise? How do you not just speak, but truly be heard? How do you connect in a world where distractions pull attention in every direction and misunderstandings are just a click away? The answer lies in mastering not just what you say, but how you say it, when you say it, and why you say it. Communication is more than transmitting information. It is the art and science of connection, of making your ideas resonate, your intentions clear, and your presence felt. In this era where digital interactions often replace face-to-face conversations, the ability to communicate effectively is what distinguishes leaders, innovators, and change-makers from the masses. Think about the power a single conversation holds. It can inspire, persuade, and transform. It can close deals, build partnerships, and heal wounds. Yet, the same conversation can confuse, alienate, and destroy trust if not handled with skill. Communication mastery is the difference between chaos and clarity, between being overlooked and being unforgettable. At the heart of mastering communication is clarity. Clarity demands that you know your message inside out. It requires that you strip away the fluff, the jargon, and the distractions. People crave simplicity because our brains process clear, direct messages faster and more accurately. When your communication is cluttered or ambiguous, it becomes noise, ignored or misunderstood. But when you speak with precision, your words become arrows that hit the target every time. Clarity also means understanding your audience. Who are you speaking to? What do they need? What are their fears, hopes, and desires? Great communicators are students of human nature. They tailor their message to resonate deeply with those listening. They ask themselves, how can I make this relevant, urgent, and compelling? When you communicate with empathy and insight, your message doesn't just inform, it moves people to action. Another essential element is authenticity. In an age of polished social media personas and marketing spin, authenticity stands out like a beacon. People crave genuine connection, and they can sense when words come from the heart versus when they are scripted or manipulative. Authentic communication builds trust. It breaks down walls. It creates lasting bonds that no amount of charm or persuasion alone can achieve. Authenticity also requires courage. It means being willing to show vulnerability, admit mistakes, and stand by your values even when it's uncomfortable. When you communicate authentically, you invite others to lower their guards and engage with you on a real, human level. This is where influence truly begins. Listening is another cornerstone of communication mastery. Communication is a two-way street. Too often, we focus solely on speaking, on getting our point across. But the most effective communicators are exceptional listeners. They don't just wait for their turn to talk. They listen deeply, seeking to understand not just words but emotions and unspoken needs. Listening builds rapport, uncovers hidden concerns, and fosters collaboration. Active listening involves more than hearing sounds. It means engaging fully with the speaker, reflecting back what you've heard, and asking questions that show genuine interest. When people feel heard, they open up, trust grows, and communication flows effortlessly. Practicing this skill in every interaction transforms relationships, whether personal or professional. Nonverbal communication, the language of gestures, expressions, tone, and body language, makes up a massive portion of how messages are received. You might say the right words, but if your tone is flat or defensive, your body language closed, the message is lost or distorted. Mastering your nonverbal signals means aligning your body and voice with your words, projecting confidence, openness, and sincerity. In virtual interactions, this becomes more challenging. Without the full spectrum of face-to-face cues, your tone and expressions must be even more intentional. Video calls, emails, texts, each demands different communication skills. Learning how to convey warmth through words, how to write with clarity and impact, how to maintain presence on camera. These are all crucial skills today. The digital world also demands a new level of discipline. Communication is instant and permanent. A careless tweet or email can spiral into a crisis. Mastering communication means mastering restraint, timing, and the ability to pause and reflect before responding. It means understanding that every word you put out shapes your reputation, your brand, and your future. Another layer to master is storytelling. Humans are wired for stories. They capture attention, stir emotions, and embed ideas deep in memory. When you wrap your message in a compelling story, you move beyond facts and figures into a realm where people feel, relate, and remember. Storytelling is not about embellishment. It's about connecting data to human experience. It's the bridge that makes ideas come alive. Effective storytelling follows a pattern. It presents a challenge, introduces conflict or tension, and then delivers resolution or insight. It invites listeners on a journey that mirrors their own struggles and aspirations. When you tell your story authentically and compellingly, you inspire others to believe, to act, and to join you. Persuasion is another powerful dimension of communication mastery. Influence isn't about manipulation, but about aligning interests, addressing objections, and creating shared value. Master persuaders understand psychology, how people think and feel, and they use language to build rapport, highlight benefits, and reduce resistance. They don't just sell ideas, they co-create solutions that resonate. The science behind persuasion reveals that people are more likely to say yes when they feel understood, when they see social proof, when the ask feels reasonable and timely. Learning to frame your message with these principles dramatically increases your impact. Confidence in communication is magnetic. When you speak with certainty, when your voice carries conviction, people listen. But confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means preparation, practice, and belief in your message. It also means being comfortable with silence, with pauses, and with the natural flow of conversation. The best communicators don't rush to fill every moment. They create space that invites reflection. Communication mastery also requires cultural intelligence. In a hyper-connected world, you interact with people from diverse backgrounds, languages. Sensitively, cultural differences prevents misunderstandings and fosters respect. It means being aware of different communication styles, norms, and values, and adapting accordingly. This global awareness expands your influence and opens doors across borders. Collaboration is powered by communication. The most innovative and successful teams are those that communicate openly, transparently, and frequently. They share ideas, challenge assumptions, and navigate conflicts with respect. Mastering communication means cultivating an environment where every voice is heard and every perspective valued. Technology tools can enhance communication, but can never replace human connection. Emails, instant messaging, video conferences, social media. Each has its place. Mastering communication means choosing the right channel for your message, knowing when to go digital, and when to pick up the phone or meet face to face. It's about using tools to amplify your voice without losing the human touch. Personal branding and reputation are shaped by communication habits. How you present yourself, the words you choose, the tone you set, the consistency of your message, forms the image others have of you. Being intentional about your communication builds trust and positions you as a leader. People follow those who communicate clearly, confidently, and authentically. In leadership, communication is the most vital skill. Leaders who inspire, motivate, and guide do so through words that create vision and align teams. They communicate expectations with clarity and feedback with compassion. They listen deeply to understand challenges and foster dialogue that leads to solutions. Leaders who master communication build cultures of trust, innovation, and resilience. For those who seek to innovate and influence, communication is the bridge from idea to impact. Brilliant ideas without the ability to communicate effectively remain invisible. Mastering communication means translating complex ideas into simple, compelling imagination and drive action. Public speaking, once feared by many, is now a critical skill in this interconnected era. Whether presenting in a boardroom, recording a video, or speaking to a crowd, your ability to convey your message with confidence and passion sets you apart. Public speaking mastery requires preparation, storytelling, and connection with your audience. It is where all the elements of communication come together in real time. Feedback is a powerful tool for growth in communication. Seeking and receiving feedback with openness allows you to identify blind spots and improve continuously. It requires humility and the willingness to listen without defensiveness. The communicators who evolve are those who embrace feedback as fuel for their development. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship or organization, and communication is the key to navigating it. Mastering communication means developing the skills to address disagreements respectfully, to find common, and to move forward without resentment. It means understanding the power of tone, timing, and empathy in resolving tension. Communication also shapes your mindset. How you talk to yourself internally influences your confidence and resilience. Positive, empowering self-talk fuels motivation, while negative patterns erode belief. Mastering communication includes mastering the conversations you have inside your own mind. In relationships, communication is the foundation of intimacy and trust. Being able to express your needs, listen deeply, and resolve conflicts creates stronger bonds. It requires vulnerability and courage, but yields profound connection. The ability to adapt your communication style depending on context, audience, and medium is a hallmark of mastery. Are you speaking to a colleague, a client, a friend, or a stranger? Each situation calls for a different tone, vocabulary, and approach. Flexibility in communication keeps you effective and relevant. Reading widely and diversifying your sources of knowledge enriches your vocabulary, ideas, and ability to connect dots. The more you expose yourself to different perspectives, the more nuanced and compelling your communication becomes. This continuous learning fuels creativity and insight. Time management also plays a role in effective communication. In a world where attention is scarce, delivering your message concisely and powerfully respects others' time and maximizes impact. Brevity with clarity is an art that separates great communicators from those who lose their audience. Practice is non-negotiable. Like any skill, communication improves with deliberate effort. Engaging in conversations, writing regularly, presenting, and seeking challenges push you beyond comfort and build mastery. Every interaction is a chance to refine your voice. Imagine the possibilities when you master communication. Doors open effortlessly, ideas spread rapidly, relationships deepen, and influence multiplies. You become a force that shapes narratives, drives change, and inspires action. The power to communicate effectively is the power to transform your life and the world around you. In the vast ocean of information that surrounds us every day, critical thinking emerges as the most vital skill to navigate through the storm. The world is overflowing with data, opinions, headlines, and ideas. Some true, some misleading, some deliberately crafted to confuse or manipulate. Without critical thinking, you are adrift in this sea, vulnerable to being swept away by every wave of falsehood or distraction. But with it, You gain a shield that protects your mind and a compass that guides you toward truth and clarity. Critical thinking is not just a skill reserved for academics or specialists. It is the ability to analyze, evaluate, and question everything you encounter with a discerning mind. It's the courage to ask hard questions, to seek evidence, and the wisdom to recognize your own biases and limitations. In today's world, critical thinking is your defense against misinformation, your tool for making informed decisions, and your path to genuine understanding. Every day, you are bombarded by messages trying to influence what you think, how you feel, and the choices you make. News outlets compete for clicks by sensationalizing stories. Social media algorithms push content designed to trigger emotions and divide opinions. Advertisements promise quick fixes and easy success. Opinions masquerade as facts. Without critical thinking, you risk accepting these messages at face value, becoming a passive consumer rather than an active thinker. The first step in developing critical thinking is recognizing that not all information is created equal. A statement or claim requires evidence to be credible, but not all evidence carries the same weight. Some data comes from rigorous studies, verified sources, and multiple perspectives. Other facts are anecdotal, biased, or cherry-picked to support a particular agenda. Critical thinking trains you to differentiate between these, to look for sources, context, and consistency. Questioning is at the heart of critical thinking. Instead of blindly accepting what you hear or read, you learn to ask, who is saying this? What is their motive? What evidence supports this claim? Could there be alternative explanations? What assumptions underlie this argument? This process of inquiry isn't about skepticism for its own sake, but about seeking truth and clarity. One of the greatest challenges in critical thinking is overcoming cognitive biases, those mental shortcuts and patterns that distort our perception and judgment. Confirmation bias, for example, leads us to favor information that confirms what we already believe, while ignoring contradictory evidence. Availability bias causes us to overestimate the importance of recent or vivid information. Awareness of these biases is essential because they shape how we interpret the world. And honestly, critical thinking requires humility. The willingness to admit when you don't know something or when your beliefs may be wrong. It means being open to changing your mind in light of new evidence. This intellectual flexibility is rare but powerful. It frees you from the prison of dogma and empowers you to grow continuously. Another key asset is learning to spot fallacies, errors in reasoning that undermine arguments, is crucial. Whether it's an appeal to emotion, a false dilemma, or a slippery slope, recognizing faulty logic prevents you from being manipulated by flawed arguments. Critical thinkers don't just look at what is said, they analyze how it is said. Critical thinking also involves separating facts from opinions and emotions. While feelings are valid and important, decisions based solely on emotion can lead to impulsive or irrational outcomes. By grounding your thinking in facts and logic, you create a stable foundation for sound judgment. In the digital age, information spreads faster than ever, but so does misinformation. Fake news, conspiracy theories, and propaganda are designed to exploit the gaps in our critical thinking. They prey on fear, uncertainty, and tribalism. Developing a skeptical yet open mind helps you resist these traps. It allows you to verify sources, cross-check facts, and recognize manipulation tactics. The practice of critical thinking extends beyond consumption of information. It shapes how you approach problems and challenges. Instead of reacting emotionally or jumping to conclusions, you analyze the situation, gather data, consider alternatives, and weigh consequences. This process leads to better decisions in your personal life, career, and relationships. In education and work, critical thinking is increasingly recognized as essential. Employers seek individuals who can solve complex problems, think independently, and innovate. Schools and universities emphasize critical analysis over rote memorization. This shift reflects the understanding that knowledge alone is not enough. The ability to think critically about that knowledge is what drives progress. Building critical thinking skills is a deliberate process. It requires practice, reflection, and a willingness to engage with complexity. Start by questioning your assumptions and others. Seek out diverse perspectives that challenge your views. Engage in debates and discussions that test your ideas. Read widely and critically, not just what confirms your beliefs, but also what opposes them. Journaling your thoughts and reasoning can also deepen critical thinking. Writing forces clarity and helps identify gaps or inconsistencies in your logic. It creates a record of your intellectual journey, revealing how your thinking evolves over time. Critical thinking thrives in environments that encourage curiosity, inquiry, and respectful disagreement. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking and inspire you to grow. Avoid echo chambers where ideas go unexamined and biases multiply unchecked. Embracing uncertainty is part of critical thinking. Rarely do problems have simple answers. Being comfortable with ambiguity and complexity allows you to explore multiple possibilities rather than settling for easy conclusions. This mindset leads to creativity and innovation. Critical thinking also enhances your ability to communicate effectively. When you understand an issue deeply and logically, you can present your ideas clearly and persuasively. You anticipate objections and address them thoughtfully. This clarity strengthens your influence and leadership. On a societal level, critical thinking is the foundation of democracy and informed citizenship. Societies thrive when individuals can analyze information critically, engage in reasoned debate, and hold leaders accountable. Without it, misinformation spreads, polarization deepens, and trust erodes. The consequences of failing to think critically are severe. History is littered with examples where mass manipulation, propaganda, and groupthink led to devastating outcomes. On a personal level, poor decisions based on faulty thinking can ruin careers, relationships, and health. Yet, critical thinking is not about cynicism or negativity. It is a hopeful skill that empowers you to see the world clearly and act wisely. It gives you control over your beliefs and choices rather than being controlled by them. Technology offers tools to support critical thinking, fact-checking websites, diverse news sources, and online courses. Use them wisely, but remember that no tool replaces your active mind. Critical thinking is a lifelong journey, not a destination. To cultivate critical thinking, make it a habit to pause and reflect before accepting information. Train yourself to question headlines, sources, and assumptions. Practice your mental models that help simplify complexity, such as cause and effect, opportunity cost, and systems thinking. Remember that everyone, no matter how intelligent, is susceptible to errors in thinking. The best thinkers are those who recognize their limitations and remain open to growth. Critical thinking also involves emotional regulation. Strong emotions can cloud judgment. Learning to recognize when emotions influence your thinking and separating them from facts enhances your clarity. In relationships, critical thinking fosters empathy and understanding. By questioning your assumptions about others and seeking to understand their perspectives, you build stronger connections. Your mental well-being benefits too. Clear thinking reduces anxiety caused by confusion and overwhelm. It helps you focus on what matters and avoid distractions. The rewards of mastering critical thinking are immense. You gain confidence in your decisions, resilience against manipulation, and the ability to create meaningful change. You become a beacon of reason in a noisy world. The journey to critical thinking mastery requires courage. To question yourself and others, to embrace uncertainty, and to seek truth relentlessly. It demands patience and discipline to sift through information carefully. As you develop this skill, your worldview expands. You appreciate complexity and nuance rather than black and white thinking. You become a lifelong learner who adapts and grows. The shield of critical thinking protects you from the noise and empowers you to shape your reality. It equips you to navigate challenges with wisdom and clarity, turning obstacles into opportunities. In the pursuit of success, many focus on intellect, skills, or technical expertise, but there is an often overlooked power that fuels genuine influence and achievement. Emotional achievement. Emotional your priorities is the capacity to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while also perceiving and influencing the emotions of others. It's a hidden key that unlocks doors in relationships, leadership, and personal growth that raw talent or knowledge alone can't open. The world is not driven solely by logic or reason. It is profoundly shaped by emotion. Every decision we make, every interaction we engage in, carries an emotional undercurrent. Understanding this truth is the first step toward mastering emotional intelligence. It means accepting that emotions are not weaknesses to be suppressed, but powerful signals that guide our behavior and connect us to others. At its core, emotional intelligence is about self-awareness. It requires you to pause and reflect on what you are feeling in any given moment. Are you anxious, frustrated, excited? These feelings are not random. They hold valuable information about your internal state and your environment. People with high emotional intelligence don't ignore these signals or push them away. They observe them without judgment. This awareness gives you the power to choose your response rather than react impulsively. Self-regulation follows self-awareness. It's the ability to manage your emotions constructively. You cannot control every event, but you can control how you respond. Imagine a situation where criticism triggers anger. Someone with strong emotional intelligence would recognize the anger, understand its source, and choose a response that serves their long-term goals instead of blowing up or shutting down. This self-control is not about suppression, but about channeling emotions into positive action. Empathy is another pillar of emotional intelligence. It is the ability to sense what others are feeling, to step into their shoes, and see the world from their perspective. Empathy builds bridges of understanding and trust. When you genuinely empathize with someone, your words and actions resonate deeper. This connection fuels collaboration, negotiation, and conflict resolution. It turns transactional interactions into meaningful relationships. Developing empathy begins with active listening, giving full attention to what others say and also to their nonverbal cues. It requires setting aside your own agenda to truly hear another person's experience. Empathy is not agreement, but understanding. It means acknowledging others' feelings even if you disagree with their viewpoint. Social skills are the practical application of emotional intelligence. They include effective communication, influence, teamwork, and conflict management. People with strong social skills navigate social complexities with ease. They inspire and motivate others, build networks, and create environments where people feel valued and heard. Emotional intelligence enhances leadership. Leaders who master this skill create cultures of trust and engagement. They understand that inspiring a team requires more than directives. It requires connecting emotionally, recognizing individual needs, and managing group dynamics. Such analytical yet firm, compassionate yet decisive. In today's workplace, emotional intelligence often outweighs technical skills in determining career success. Employers seek individuals who can collaborate across diverse teams, adapt to change, and manage success. High emotional intelligence facilitates these abilities, making you indispensable. Developing emotional intelligence is a journey. It starts with mindfulness, being present and fully engaged in your experiences. Mindfulness practices enhance your ability to notice emotions as they arise, reducing the chance of reactive behavior. It strengthens the gap between stimulus and response, where true choice lies. Reflecting on your emotional patterns reveals triggers and habitual reactions. This awareness allows you to interrupt negative cycles and replace them with healthier responses. Journaling can be a useful tool here, as writing clarifies feelings and thoughts. Learning to manage stress effectively is part of emotional regulation. Chronic stress impairs judgment, communication, and health. Techniques such as deep breathing, physical exercise, and reframing negative thoughts bolster resilience and calm. The ability to stay centered in chaos is a hallmark of emotional intelligence. Building empathy requires curiosity about others. Ask questions not just to gather information, but to understand motivations, fears, and desires. When you validate others' emotions, you build rapport and loyalty. This emotional attunement often reveals solutions that pure logic misses. Socials can be improved by practicing clear, assertive communication. This means expressing your thoughts and needs honestly while respecting others. It avoids passive submission or aggressive domination. Assertiveness balances confidence with empathy, creating mutual respect. Conflict is inevitable, but emotional intelligence transforms it from destructive to constructive. Emotionally intelligent individuals approach conflict with calmness and openness. They listen to underlying concerns, acknowledge emotions, and seek win-win outcomes. This approach preserves relationships and drives progress. Emotional intelligence also deepens self-motivation. Understanding what emotionally drives you helps sustain effort through challenges. It enables you to set meaningful goals aligned with your values and to celebrate progress rather than chase perfection. Neuroscience supports the power of emotional intelligence. The brain's limbic system governs emotions, influencing decision-making and memory. Developing emotional intelligence strengthens neural pathways that regulate emotional responses, improving your mental flexibility and social functioning. Cultivating emotional intelligence requires vulnerability, the willingness to face uncomfortable feelings and share authentically with others. This openness fosters deeper connections and invites support. Vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Practice empathy in everyday life by observing how people express emotions differently. Cultural norms, personality, and experiences shape emotional expression. Developing sensitivity to these differences enhances your interpersonal effectiveness. Feedback is essential for growth in emotional intelligence. Seek input from trusted friends, mentors, or coaches about how your emotions affect others. Use this insight to refine your awareness and responses. Technology can both hinder and help emotional intelligence. Digital communication often lacks nuance, making empathy harder. Yet, virtual collaboration tools demand new emotional skills like clear tone and timely feedback. Balancing screen time with face-to-face interaction nurtures social connection. Emotional intelligence nurtures mental health. It builds coping mechanisms for anxiety and depression by promoting self-compassion and realistic appraisal of situations. It reduces loneliness by improving relationship quality. In relationships, emotional intelligence creates intimacy and resilience. Partners who express emotions openly and understand each other's feelings navigate challenges more successfully. Children raised with emotionally intelligent role models develop better social skills and self-esteem. Teaching emotional intelligence in schools prepares students for complex social environments and future careers. Programs that develop self-awareness and conflict resolution produce more engaged and successful learners. On a societal level, emotional intelligence promotes tolerance, reduces polarization, and fosters cooperation. It underpins ethical leadership and compassionate governance. The practice of emotional intelligence transforms every aspect of life. It shapes how you respond to setbacks, communicate desires, and build communities. It turns challenges into opportunities for growth and connection. Mastering emotional intelligence means embracing the full spectrum of human experience: joy, sadness, anger, fear, with openness and wisdom. It empowers you to lead with heart as well as mind. Resilience is the quiet force that separates those who crumble under pressure from those who rise again, stronger and wiser. It is not just the ability to endure hardship, but to use adversity as a catalyst for growth. In a world that constantly throws curveballs, economic upheavals, personal losses, professional losses, global crises, resilience is the skill that keeps you moving forward when the path gets dark and uncertain. Everyone faces challenges, but not everyone responds to them with the same strength. Resilience is the inner armor that protects you from despair and fuels your determination to persevere. It is the mindset that transforms obstacles from dead ends into detours, guiding you toward new opportunities and insights. The first step to building resilience is embracing the reality of struggle. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are inevitable. Resilient people don't waste energy denying difficulties or wishing for a trouble-free existence. Instead, they accept challenges as a natural part of growth. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity, but a clear-eyed acknowledgement that hardship is a teacher, not a punishment. Resilience is deeply connected to mindset. It requires cultivating a perspective that views failure as feedback, not defeat. Each setback carries lessons that, when extracted, sharpen your skills and deepen your wisdom. People with a resilient mindset don't see failure as a reflection of their worth, but as an essential step on the road to mastery. Developing resilience also means building emotional strength. When faced with adversity, emotions like fear, anger, and sadness are natural. Resilience isn't about suppressing these feelings, but processing them healthily and moving forward with courage. This emotional agility allows you to feel pain without being overwhelmed by it. Another flexibility. Resilient individuals adapt their plans when circumstances change. They don't cling rigidly to one path, but explore alternatives, innovate solutions, and stay open to new possibilities. This flexibility is what turns obstacles into opportunities. Support systems play a crucial role in resilience. Connection to others, family, friends, mentors, communities, provides emotional sustenance and practical assistance. Resilient people build networks they can rely on, and they also offer support in return. This reciprocity strengthens everyone involved and creates a buffer against isolation and despair. Physical health is often overlooked but foundational to resilience. Stress and adversity take a toll, and maintaining physical well-being through nutrition, exercise, and rest enhances your capacity to cope. A strong body supports a strong mind. Resilience grows through experience. Each challenge you face and overcome strengthens your ability to handle future adversity. This is why cultivating a mindset that welcomes challenges rather than avoiding them is essential. Seek out difficult tasks and stretch yourself regularly. The process builds stamina and confidence. Storytelling reveals countless examples of resilience. People who have faced poverty, illness, discrimination, or failure and yet rose to achieve greatness. Their stories teach us that resilience is not an innate trait reserved for a chosen few, but a skill developed through practice and mindset. One key to resilience is purpose. When you have a clear sense of meaning, whether in your work, relationships, or personal goals, you are more motivated to endure hardships. Purpose acts like a beacon, guiding you through dark times and reminding you why the struggle is worthwhile. Resilient people also practice gratitude. Recognizing what is good in your life, even amidst difficulty, shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude fuels hope and reduces the feeling of helplessness. Setting realistic goals is another strategy. Breaking down overwhelming challenges into manageable steps creates momentum and a sense of achievement. Each small victory reinforces your resilience and belief in your capabilities. Resilience requires self-compassion. It means treating yourself with kindness when things go wrong instead of harsh self-criticism. Self-compassion nurtures emotional healing and encourages persistence. Learning from setbacks involves honest reflection. What went wrong? What could be done differently? What resources can be leveraged? This analytical approach transforms failure into a roadmap for improvement. Mindfulness and meditation support resilience by grounding you in the present moment. They reduce anxiety about the future and help you respond to stress with calm and clarity. The ability to pause and breathe amidst chaos is a powerful resilience tool. Building resilience also involves cultivating optimism. This is not blind placidity, but a realistic confidence in your ability to overcome difficulties. Optimism sustains effort and nurtures problem solving. Resilience is tested not only by major crises, but by everyday stresses and disappointments. Developing habits that reinforce resilience daily, journaling or seeking connection, creates a foundation that withstands bigger storms. In the face of uncertainty, resilience fosters adaptability. It allows you to revise plans without losing hope. This agility is crucial in today's fast. Social resilience is also important. How communities respond and recover from challenges collectively. Engaging in acts of kindness, volunteering, and building social capital contribute to this shared strength. Technology can be a double-edged sword for resilience. While it provides tools for connection and learning, excessive screen time and social media can increase stress. Balancing digital use with real-world interaction supports emotional health. Leadership requires resilience. Leaders face pressure, criticism, and setbacks regularly. Those who develop resilience inspire confidence and stability in their teams. They model perseverance and encourage a culture of learning from mistakes. Resilience training is becoming more common in organizations, schools, and therapy because its benefits are well documented. Programs that teach coping strategies and emotional regulation produce individuals who thrive under pressure. Your mindset around control influences resilience. Focusing on what you can control and accepting what you cannot reduces frustration and conserves energy. This focus enables you to take effective action rather than becoming overwhelmed. Developing resilience also means recognizing signs of burnout and taking proactive steps to rest and recharge. Ignoring exhaustion undermines your ability to cope and respond. In relationships, resilience strengthens bonds. Couples and families who face challenges with openness and mutual support emerge closer and more trusting. Resilience is also about hope, a belief in a better future despite current difficulties. Hope motivates you to keep moving, to try again, and to believe in your own potential. Cultivating resilience takes time and intentionality. It requires creating habits, seeking growth, and embracing discomfort. Every setback is an opportunity to strengthen this vital skill. When you embody resilience, you inspire others. Your example becomes a source of motivation and courage for those around you. Resilience is contagious. The power of resilience lies not in avoiding hardship, but in harnessing it as fuel for transformation. It shapes you into someone who can face any challenge and emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable. Resilience is not a trait people are simply born with. It is a skill, a mindset, and a way of being that can be cultivated, strengthened, and refined through experience and intentional practice. It is the inner strength that enables you to face life's inevitable setbacks and challenges, not with defeat or despair, but with courage, clarity, and determination. To be resilient is to understand that life will not always go according to plan, that adversity will strike, pain will visit, and failures will test your spirit. Yet, within this truth lies the power to transform hardship into growth, to convert pain into purpose, and to emerge from struggle more capable and confident than before. At its core, resilience is about recovery and renewal. It's about the capacity to absorb the shock of hardship and then to move forward with even greater resolve. This process requires more than just grit or stubbornness. It demands self-awareness and a deep sense of meaning. When resilience is present, obstacles become stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Challenges become teachers rather than threats. Pain becomes a catalyst rather than a prison. The journey toward resilience begins with acceptance. Accepting that struggle is part of life's fabric and that you cannot control every external circumstance. You can control how you respond. This distinction between what you can and cannot control is fundamental to resilience. Wasting energy on resisting reality drains your strength. Embracing reality, no matter how difficult, frees your energy to focus on what matters: your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This acceptance does not mean resignation or giving up. It means a sober acknowledgement of the facts, combined with a commitment to act wisely and courageously despite them. Resilient people do not wait for the storm to pass before they begin rebuilding. They begin the work in the storm itself, finding ways to adapt, adjust, and advance. Resilience is deeply connected to mindset, particularly the mindset that failure is not the end, but an essential part of the learning process. When you view setbacks as feedback and opportunities for growth, you reframe failure from a personal defeat into a stepping stone toward success. This growth mindset fosters curiosity and experimentation rather than fear and avoidance. It encourages you to ask, "What can I learn from this?" rather than, "Why is this happening to me?" And embracing failure as a teacher requires courage and vulnerability. It means being willing to face discomfort, to risk embarrassment or loss, and to persist in the face of uncertainty. Resilience grows when you lean into difficulty rather than shrinking away. Each time you choose to continue despite setbacks, you build a reservoir of strength that prepares you for future challenges. Emotional regulation is a vital component of resilience. Life's hardships often evoke powerful emotions: fear, anger, sadness, frustration. Resilience does not mean suppressing or ignoring these feelings. It means acknowledging and managing them in ways that support your goals. Learning to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This emotional agility prevents burnout and preserves clarity under pressure. Developing emotional resilience involves cultivating practices that build self-awareness and calm. Mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling, and physical activity are tools that help you stay centered and grounded when stress mounts. These practices create a space between stimulus and response, empowering you to choose your reaction with intention. Flexibility is another cornerstone of resilience. Life's challenges rarely follow a predictable path. The ability to pivot, adjust plans, and remain open to new solutions is essential. Rigidity in thinking or behavior can turn obstacles into dead ends, while flexibility transforms them into detours. Resilient people embrace ambiguity and uncertainty, viewing them as invitations to innovate and grow rather than threats to security. Support networks amplify resilience. Human beings are social creatures, and connection is a source of strength. When facing adversity, having trusted people to lean on, whether friends, family, mentors, or colleagues, provides emotional comfort, practical help, and perspective. Resilience flourishes in communities where vulnerability is met with empathy and support. Building and nurturing these relationships requires intentional effort, but pays lifelong dividends. Physical well-being underpins mental and emotional resilience. Stress taxes the body, and a neglected physical state reduces your capacity to cope. Regular exercise, sufficient sleep, balanced nutrition, and hydration strengthen your energy reserves and improve mood regulation. The mind and body are inseparable partners in resilience, each supporting the other in a dynamic balance. Resilience is not about avoiding pain but enduring it with grace. It is about choosing to stand after every fall, to move forward with determination after every setback. The human spirit has an extraordinary capacity for renewal. History and personal stories abound with examples of individuals who faced tremendous loss, trauma, or failure and yet rebuilt meaningful, thriving lives. Their stories remind us that resilience is possible for anyone willing to engage with their struggle courageously. Purpose fuels resilience. When you have a clear sense of why you endure, a mission, a vision, a calling. Hardship, purpose anchors you in the storm and lights a path through uncertainty. It motivates you to persist, to overcome, and to grow beyond your current limitations. Clarifying your purpose and aligning your daily actions with it build resilience by providing meaning beyond momentary pain. Resilient individuals cultivate optimism, not as naive positivity, but as a realistic belief in their ability to influence outcomes and create change. Optimism sustains motivation, encourages problem-solving, and mitigates the paralyzing effects of fear. This hopeful outlook is nurtured through daily habits. Focusing on progress, celebrating small wins, and reframing setbacks as temporary and surmountable. Setting achievable goals is a practical strategy to build resilience. Facing a large problem can be overwhelming, leading to paralysis or despair. Breaking challenges into manageable steps creates momentum and a sense of control. Each completed step is a victory that reinforces your confidence and strengthens your resolve. Self-compassion is often overlooked, but critical in resilience. The voice inside your head profoundly affects your ability to bounce back. When faced with failure or difficulty, harsh self-criticism erodes confidence and increases stress. Cultivating a compassionate inner dialogue, speaking to yourself as you would a dear friend, fosters emotional healing and encourages persistence. Resilience also requires reflective learning. After each setback or challenge, take time to analyze what happened, what you did well, and what could be improved. This process turns experience into wisdom, enabling smarter choices and better preparation in the future. Mindfulness and presence anchor you in the here now, reducing anxiety about the unknown future. Being fully present allows you to respond to challenges with clarity and calmness rather than panic or avoidance. Resilience is strengthened by cultivating social and community resilience. The collective ability of groups to withstand and recover from adversity. Participating in communal activities, volunteering, and contributing to causes larger than yourself create a sense of belonging and shared purpose that bolsters individual resilience. Leadership demands resilience. Leaders who can withstand pressure, setbacks, and criticism inspire confidence and guide others through difficult times. They model perseverance and create cultures where challenges are faced openly and constructively. Technology offers tools to support resilience, but also potential distractions. Managing digital consumption and balancing online and offline engagement protect mental health and maintain focus on priorities. Resilience is a lifelong journey, not a fixed state. It requires ongoing commitment, self-care, learning, and adaptation. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to deepen this vital skill. Recognizing signs of burnout and stress early is essential. Taking breaks, setting boundaries, and seeking support prevent exhaustion and maintain your capacity to cope. Resilience strengthens relationships. Shared challenges deepen bonds and foster empathy. Couples, families, and friends who navigate adversity together build trust and intimacy. Hope is the emotional fuel of resilience, the belief that better days are possible. Hope motivates action, sustains effort, and anchors you in difficult times. Cultivating resilience means embracing discomfort and uncertainty as essential parts of growth. Avoiding pain only delays growth and weakens your ability to face future challenges. When you develop resilience, you reclaim control over your life and destiny. You become the author of your story, no longer a victim of circumstance. You discover an inner strength and resourcefulness that empowers every area of your life. Change is the only constant in life. It sweeps through every corner of our existence, reshaping the world around us with relentless speed and force. From the rapid evolution of technology to shifting social norms, economic upheavals to environmental crises, the world we live in is marked by continuous transformation. In such an unpredictable landscape, adaptability is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the skill that allows you not just to survive, but to thrive amid uncertainty, complexity, and chaos. Adaptability is the capacity to adjust your thoughts, behaviors, and strategies in response to changing circumstances. It's the mental and emotional agility that enables you to embrace new realities, seize opportunities, and navigate disruptions with resilience and creativity. Being adaptable means welcoming change rather than resisting it, seeing challenges as invitations to innovate rather than threats to security. At the heart of adaptability is an open mind. This openness means being willing to question your assumptions, release outdated beliefs, and learn new ways of thinking. It requires humility, the recognition that no matter how much you know, there is always room to grow, to improve, and to evolve. Adaptability is rooted in curiosity and a genuine desire to understand the world as it shifts around you. Rigid thinking and fixed mindsets are the enemies of adaptability. When you cling stubbornly to what once worked or what you are comfortable with, you risk becoming obsolete or stuck. The pace of change today is so rapid that yesterday's solutions often fail to address today's problems. Those who resist change find themselves falling behind, overwhelmed by new realities that demand new responses. Learning to be adaptable starts with embracing uncertainty. It means developing comfort with complexity and incomplete information. In a world that never stops changing, waiting for perfect clarity or guaranteed outcomes is a trap that paralyzes us. Adaptable people the ability to make decisions and take action despite imperfect knowledge. They experiment, iterate, and refine as they go, learning from feedback rather than waiting for certainty. Flexibility in your goals and strategies help. This doesn't mean abandoning your vision or values, but being willing to revise your plans and approaches to align with shifting conditions. Adaptable individuals balance persistence with openness, holding on to what matters while letting go of what no longer serves. They pivot when needed, adjust course without losing momentum, and view setbacks as valuable information rather than failures. Emotional adaptability is just as important as cognitive flexibility. Change often stirs feelings of fear, anxiety, frustration, or loss. The ability to regulate these emotions, to stay calm and centered amid upheaval, empowers you to respond constructively rather than react destructively. Developing emotional resilience supports your capacity to navigate change with grace and clarity. Adaptability also requires continuous learning. The world is evolving so quickly that staying relevant demands ongoing education, skill development, and openness to new ideas. Lifelong learners thrive in changing environments because they are prepared to acquire what is needed and to unlearn what is outdated. They seek out knowledge actively, embrace challenges as growth opportunities, and view mistakes as lessons. In a professional context, adaptability is often what separates successful individuals and organizations from those that falter. Companies that innovate, pivot, and respond rapidly to market shifts dominate their industries. Employees who demonstrate flexibility and a willingness to acquire new skills become invaluable assets. Adaptability fuels innovation and drives progress. The digital revolution exemplifies the necessity of adaptability. Technologies evolve at breathtaking speed, reshaping how we work, communicate, and live. Those who cling to old tools or methods find themselves left behind. Those who adapt to new platforms, learn emerging skills, and rethink their roles flourish. This is true across all industries, from manufacturing to marketing, education to healthcare. Adaptability also influences your personal life. Relationships evolve, circumstances change, and unexpected events occur. Being able to adjust your expectations, communicate openly, and find new ways to connect strengthens your bonds and enriches your experience. Adaptable individuals navigate life transitions, whether moving cities, changing careers, or dealing with loss, with greater ease. Cultivating adaptability involves stepping outside your comfort zone regularly. Growth happens when you face discomfort and challenge yourself to try new things. Each experience builds confidence and broadens your capacity to handle future changes. Embracing novelty sparks creativity and expands your perspective. Problem-solving skills are enhanced by adaptability. When you encounter obstacles, adaptable thinkers generate multiple solutions, test hypotheses, and remain open to alternative pathways. They avoid rigid one-size-fits-all approaches, instead tailoring responses to unique circumstances. Adaptability also promotes collaboration. In diverse teams and communities, flexibility allows you to understand and incorporate different viewpoints. This openness fosters innovation, reduces conflict, and builds stronger, more resilient groups. Building adaptability requires mindfulness and reflection. Being aware of your reactions to change helps you identify resistance or fear. Reflection enables you to question these responses and consciously choose more productive attitudes and behaviors. Resilient adaptability is rooted in self-efficacy. The belief in your ability to manage challenges and succeed. Confidence empowers you to face uncertainty with curiosity and courage rather than anxiety and avoidance. Cultivating small wins, learning new skills, and celebrating progress strengthen this belief. Adaptability is closely linked to creativity. Innovation often emerges from the intersection of diverse ideas, perspectives, and experiences. Being open to change expands your mental toolkit and allows you to combine concepts in novel ways. This creative adaptability drives breakthroughs and problem-solving. The capacity to embrace feedback is a hallmark of adaptable individuals. Constructive criticism collides valuable information for growth. Instead of reacting defensively, adaptable people listen carefully, reflect, and integrate insights. This receptivity accelerates learning and improvement. Change management skills are increasingly important. These involve planning for change, communicating effectively, and supporting others through transitions. Adaptable leaders understand the human side of change and create environments where people feel safe to experiment and learn. Adaptability also means letting go of perfectionism. The desire for control and flawless outcomes can hinder your ability to pivot and respond flexibly. Accepting imperfection and uncertainty opens the door to experimentation and growth. Building adaptability requires curiosity, a genuine interest in how things work, why they change, abilities exist. Curiosity drives exploration, questioning, and discovery, fueling your ability to adapt. The natural world offers powerful lessons in adaptability. Species survive by evolving, adjusting to new environments, and innovating survival strategies. Human beings are no different. Our capacity to adapt is part of our evolutionary heritage, woven into our DNA. Mental models and frameworks support adaptability by helping you simplify complexity and make decisions. Techniques like systems thinking, first principles reasoning, and scenario planning provide tools to navigate uncertainty effectively. Cultivating a growth mindset is foundational. Believing that your abilities can develop with effort and learning fuels your motivation to adapt. This mindset encourages embracing challenges, persisting through setbacks, and valuing effort over innate talent. Adaptability requires emotional courage, the willingness to face fears, doubts, and discomfort associated with change. It's normal to feel anxiety when stepping into the unknown, but courage empowers you to move forward regardless. Practicing adaptability in everyday life prepares you for larger disruptions. Simple habits like trying new routines, learning new skills, or engaging with diverse perspectives expand your flexibility and confidence. The rewards of adaptability extend beyond survival. They include innovation, opportunity, personal growth, and fulfillment. Those who adapt thrive in dynamic environments, turning uncertainty into advantage. Your ability to adapt shapes your influence. People are drawn to those who respond to change with grace and competence. Adaptability builds trust, credibility, and leadership presence. Developing adaptability is an ongoing process. It requires commitment to learning, self-reflection, and embracing discomfort. It is not about sudden transformation, but gradual evolution. The interconnectedness of today's world means that local changes can have global impact. Adaptability enables you to respond thoughtfully to this complexity, seeing patterns and anticipating shifts. Adapting to change also involves managing stress effectively. Chronic stress impairs cognition, creativity, and health. Practices such as mindfulness exercise and social support buffer stress and maintain adaptability. Technology both challenges and enhances adaptability. While rapid tech advances can be overwhelming, they also provide tools for learning, communication, and innovation. Leveraging technology wisely supports your adaptability journey. Adaptability strengthens relationships by fostering empathy and flexibility. Understanding that people change and circumstances evolve helps you build enduring connections. The ability to embrace uncertainty and change is a source of empowerment. Rather than fearing what lies ahead, you learn to approach life with openness and readiness. Your personal narrative shifts when you develop adaptability. You see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in shaping your future. The practice of adaptability transforms how you approach problems, opportunities, and relationships. It frees you from the constraints of fixed thinking and opens a world of possibility. Cultivating adaptability means embracing the flow of life, learning to dance with change rather than resist it. This mindset and skill set equip you to thrive in a world that never stops changing. Communication is the lifeblood of human connection, the thread that weaves individuals into communities and transforms ideas into action. It is far more than just exchanging words. Communication is a powerful tool that shapes relations and builds trust. Mastering communication is essential in today's world where clarity, empathy, and authenticity determine your ability to lead, inspire, and connect. The art of communication is the bridge that spans the gap between isolation and understanding, between confusion and clarity, between conflict and cooperation. At its essence, communication is about connection, making your thoughts and feelings understood while also seeking to understand others. It begins with listening, an often overlooked but critical component. Listening is not merely waiting for your turn to speak. It is an active, intentional process of hearing beyond words. It involves attention to tone, body language, emotions, and unspoken messages. When you listen deep, you create space for empathy and build the foundation for genuine dialogue. Effective communication requires authenticity. People can sense when you are genuine, and authenticity builds trust. It means expressing your true thoughts and feelings with courage and honesty, while respecting others. Authentic communication invites others to be open as well, fostering mutual respect and understanding. It is a dynamic interplay of vulnerability and strength. Clarity is another pillar of powerful communication. Clear communication means your message is easily understood without ambiguity. This clarity is achieved through simplicity, precision, and relevance. Avoiding jargon, convoluted language, or vague expressions helps your audience grasp your intent quickly and accurately. Clarity reduces misunderstandings and increases your influence. Nonverbal communication carries tremendous weight. Facial expressions, gestures, posture, and eye contact convey emotions and attitudes often more powerfully than words. Being aware of your body language and reading others' nonverbal cues enhances your ability to connect and respond appropriately. Consistency between verbal and nonverbal messages strengthens your credibility. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in communication. Being attuned to your own emotions and those of others helps you navigate sensitive topics, diffuse conflicts, and respond with empathy. Emotional intelligence allows you to tailor your message to your audience's feelings and needs, creating resonance and impact. Communication is a two-way street. Effective communicators engage in dialogue rather than monologue. They invite questions, encourage feedback, and show openness to different viewpoints. This engagement fosters collaboration, creativity, and mutual growth. When people feel heard, they are more likely to participate actively and contribute meaningfully. Persuasion and influence are also rooted in communication skills. The ability to present ideas compellingly, appeal to values and emotions, and build rapport enhances your capacity to lead and inspire. Influential communicators tell stories, use vivid examples, and connect their message to their audience's aspirations and concerns. Conflict is inevitable in human interactions, but communication can transform conflict. Skilled communicators approach disagreements with curiosity and respect. They focus on interests rather than listen to understand rather than to respond, and seek common ground. This approach resolves conflicts while preserving relationships. Public speaking is a powerful form of communication that can amplify your impact. Overcoming fear of speaking, organizing your thoughts, and engaging your audience through storytelling and passion are skills that can be developed. Public speaking allows you to share your vision widely and mobilize others toward collective goals. Digital communication demands specific skills. The absence of tone and nonverbal cues can lead to misunderstandings. Being clear, concise, and respectful in emails, texts, and social media posts is essential. Thoughtful digital communication builds your reputation and fosters positive connections, even across distances. Feedback is a critical communication tool for personal and professional growth. Giving and receiving feedback effectively requires tact, clarity, and openness. Constructive feedback focuses on behaviors and outcomes rather than personal traits. Receiving feedback with humility and curiosity accelerates learning and improvement. Cultural awareness enriches communication. Different cultures have distinct communication styles, norms, and expectations. Being sensitive to these differences reduces misunderstandings and fosters inclusivity. Cross-cultural communication skills are increasingly valuable in our globalized world. Communication skills develop through practice and reflection. Observing effective communicators, seeking feedback, and experimenting with different approaches help you refine your abilities. Reflecting on your communication successes and challenges deepens your self-awareness and guides growth. Storytelling is a timeless communication technique that captivates and motivates. Stories engage emotions, illustrate principles, and make messages memorable. Crafting compelling narratives connects your ideas to the human experience, inspiring action and empathy. Assertiveness is a communication style that balances confidence with respect. Being assertive means expressing your needs, opinions, and boundaries clearly without aggression or passivity. This style fosters honest and productive interactions and builds self-respect. Listening with empathy requires setting aside judgments and assumptions. It means being fully present and open to another person's experience. Empathic listening builds trust and paves the way for meaningful connection. Communication is deeply intertwined with identity and self-expression. How you communicate reflects your values, beliefs, and personality. Developing your unique voice empowers you to communicate with authenticity and impact. Nonviolent communication offers a framework for compassionate dialogue. It focuses on observing without judgment, expressing feelings and needs honestly, and making clear requests. This approach transforms difficult conversations and nurtures understanding. In leadership, communication is the bridge between vision and execution. Leaders who communicate clearly and inspire emotionally engage their teams, align efforts, and build culture. Communication fosters accountability and motivation. Communication also shapes your personal brand. How you express yourself in words and actions influences how others perceive you. Thoughtful communication's credibility, reputation, and opportunities. Embracing vulnerability in communication deepens trust. Sharing your authentic self, including fears and uncertainties, invites others to connect on a human level. Vulnerability is a source of strength, not weakness. Communication requires adaptability. Tailoring your message to your audience, context, and medium increases effectiveness. Being flexible and responsive to feedback enhances connection and influence. The power of questions in communication is immense. Asking open-ended questions encourages reflection, discovery, and dialogue. Questions stimulate critical thinking and foster collaborative problem-solving. Communication is a lifelong journey of learning and growth. It evolves with your experiences, relationships, and roles. Investing in communication skills enriches every aspect of your life and work. Your communication shapes your impact on the world. It has the power to heal, inspire, educate, and transform. Developing mastery in communication opens doors to influence and fulfillment. Critical thinking is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in today's world, a skill that transcends industries, disciplines, and personal situations. It is the ability to analyze information objectively, evaluate arguments carefully, and make reasoned decisions based on evidence rather than emotion, bias, or assumption. In an era overflowing with information, opinions, and distractions, critical thinking is the compass that guides you through complexity, misinformation, and uncertainty, leading you to clarity, wisdom, and sound judgment. At its essence, critical thinking means thinking about thinking. It involves stepping back from your immediate reactions and assumptions to examine your thought processes with curiosity and skepticism. This metacognitive ability allows you to identify biases, question premises, and test conclusions. Developing critical thinking transforms how you approach problems, challenges beliefs, and engages with the world. The foundation of critical thinking is intellectual humility. The willingness to acknowledge that you do not know everything and that your beliefs may be wrong. This openness creates space for learning and growth. Without humility, the mind becomes rigid, defensive, and closed off to new information or perspectives. Embracing intellectual humility is the first step toward expanding your understanding. Critical thinking requires clarity of purpose. Before diving into analysis, it is crucial to define the question or problem clearly. Vague or poorly framed questions lead to confusion and ineffective solutions. Defining the problem precisely helps focus your inquiry and guides the collection of relevant information. Gathering accurate and reliable information is another pillar of critical thinking. In a world saturated, discerning trustworthy sources from misinformation is vital. This means evaluating the credibility of authors, the quality of evidence, and the context of information. Critical thinkers cross-check facts, seek diverse viewpoints, and remain vigilant against confirmation bias. The tendency to favor information that supports Analysis involves breaking down complex information into components to understand relationships, causes, and consequences. It means examining evidence critically, identifying assumptions, and distinguishing facts from opinions. This analytical process reveals hidden patterns, inconsistencies, and gaps in reasoning. Evaluation is the judgment phase, where you assess the strength of arguments, the validity of evidence, and the reliability of sources. Critical thinkers ask, is the evidence sufficient? Are there alternative explanations? Is the logic sound? This evaluative prevents acceptance of claims without scrutiny. Logical reasoning is a core component of critical thinking. It involves drawing conclusions based on valid inferences and avoiding fallacies, errors in reasoning that undermine arguments. Recognizing common fallacies such as ad hominem attacks, false dilemmas, slippery slopes, or appeals to emotion protects you from manipulation and faulty conclusions. Creative thinking complements critical thinking by generating new ideas, hypotheses, and solutions. While critical thinking focuses on analysis and evaluation, creativity opens the mind to possibilities and innovation. Together, they form a powerful duo that drives problem-solving and decision-making. Decision-making of critical thinking. It requires weighing options, considering risks and benefits, and selecting courses of action aligned with your goals and values. Effective decision-making balances rational analysis with intuition and experience. Developing critical thinking demands practice and discipline. It is a habit of mind that grows stronger with use. Engaging regularly in activities that challenge your reasoning, such as reading diverse materials, debating, writing, and solving puzzles, sharpens your skills. Self-reflection is vital. Critical thinkers monitor their own thought processes, question their assumptions, and recognize emotional influences. This self-awareness prevents blind spots and promotes intellectual honesty. Curiosity fuels critical thinking. A genuine desire to understand, explore, and question motivates you to dig deeper, seek evidence, and consider alternative viewpoints. Curiosity combats intellectual complacency and drives lifelong learning. Critical thinking is essential in navigating media and information in the digital age. Social media, news outlets, and online platforms often present biased, incomplete, or sensationalized content. Developing the skill to analyze and verify information protects you from misinformation and helps you form informed opinions. Effective communication of your critical thinking is crucial. Presenting your ideas clearly, supporting them with evidence, and anticipating counterarguments enhance your influence and credibility. Writing and speaking with logical coherence engages others and fosters constructive dialogue. Critical thinking supports emotional intelligence by helping you distinguish between facts and feelings. It enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively to emotional triggers. This balance improves interpersonal relationships and conflict resolution. In professional settings, critical thinking drives innovation, efficiency, and ethical decision-making. Employers highly value employees who can analyze complex problems, propose solutions, and anticipate consequences. It underpins leadership and strategic planning. Ethical reasoning is intertwined with critical thinking. It involves evaluating the moral implications of decisions and actions. Critical thinkers consider not only what is effective, but also what is right, aligning choices with principles of fairness, respect, and integrity. Critical thinking also promotes resilience by equipping you to navigate setbacks with clarity and composure. When challenges arise, critical analysis helps you identify causes, adjust strategies, and avoid repeating mistakes. Education systems for critical thinking prepare students for complex, real-world challenges. These skills empower learners to question assumptions, engage in civil discourse, and participate actively in democratic societies. Collaboration benefits from critical thinking by encouraging respectful debate, diverse perspectives, and evidence-based decisions. Teams that think critically are better equipped to solve problems and innovate. Critical thinking requires managing cognitive biases that distort judgment. Awareness of biases such as anchoring, availability heuristic, and groupthink allows you to correct or mitigate their influence. Mindfulness practices support critical thinking by enhancing focus and awareness. A calm and attentive mind is better able to analyze information objectively and resist distractions. Technological tools can augment critical thinking by providing access to data, analytical frameworks, and decision support systems. However, reliance on technology requires discernment to avoid misinformation or overconfidence. Critical thinkers are lifelong learners, embracing challenges as opportunities to refine their understanding. They remain adaptable and open to change as new evidence emerges. The practice of critical thinking transforms your engagement with the world. It empowers you to make informed decisions, solve problems effectively, and communicate persuasively. It is a shield against manipulation and a beacon for truth. By cultivating critical thinking, you equip yourself with a skill set that elevates every aspect of your life. Personal, professional, and civic, it is an investment in your intellectual freedom and a pathway to meaningful impact. Emotional intelligence, often abbreviated as EQ, is one of the most essential skills for success in both personal and professional realms. It is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while also perceiving and influencing the emotions of others. While intelligence quotient, IQ measures cognitive abilities, emotional intelligence measures the capacity to navigate the complex world of human feelings and relationships. In today's interconnected and fast-paced world, EQ often matters more than technical skills or raw intellect because it shapes how effectively you communicate, lead, and build meaningful connection. At the core of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. This is the ability to tune into your own emotional state, to recognize what you're feeling and why. Self-awareness is the foundation for all other aspects of EQ because without it, you cannot manage your emotions or understand their impact on your behavior. Developing self-awareness involves regular reflection and honest examination of your feelings and reactions. It's about asking yourself questions like, what emotions am I experiencing right now? How are these emotions influencing my thoughts and actions? Why do I feel this way? Once self-awareness takes root, it naturally leads to self-regulation, the skill of managing your emotions constructively. Emotional regulation means you don't allow feelings like fear or frustration to control your behavior. Instead, you learn to pause, breathe, and choose your responses deliberately. This skill is critical in high-pressure situations where impulsive reactions can damage relationships or cloud judgment. Self-regulation also includes resilience, the ability to recover quickly from setbacks and maintain a steady course despite emotional turbulence. Empathy is another central pillar of emotional intelligence. It is the capacity to understand and share the feelings of others, to step into their shoes and see the world through their eyes. Empathy builds connection and trust, enabling you to respond sensitively to others' needs and perspectives. In leadership, empathy fosters loyalty and motivation by demonstrating genuine care. In personal relationships, it nurtures intimacy and cooperation. Social skills form the final piece of the EQ puzzle. These skills include effective communication, conflict resolution, and collaboration. They enable you to influence, inspire, and navigate social complexities with grace. People with strong social skills create positive environments where ideas flow freely and challenges are tackled cooperatively. Developing emotional intelligence begins with mindfulness, a practice of observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness cultivates presence and clarity, allowing you to recognize emotions as they arise rather than being swept away by them. It sharpens your ability to notice subtle emotional cues in yourself and others. Understanding the physiological aspects of emotions also enhances EQ. Emotions trigger physical responses, increased heart rate, tension, or relaxation, and recognizing these bodily signals helps you become more attuned to your emotions. As deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and grounding exercises assist in managing emotional arousal. Building emotional intelligence requires cultivating a growth mindset towards your emotions. This means viewing emotions as information rather than problems to be avoided or suppressed. Emotions provide valuable insights about your values, boundaries, and unmet needs. Embracing your feelings with curiosity and compassion empowers you to address their root causes constructively. Emotional intelligence significantly improves decision-making. When you are aware of your emotional biases and manage them effectively, you make more rational and balanced choices. Emotions provide important data, but unchecked feelings can cloud judgment. EQ enables you to integrate emotional awareness with logic, leading to wiser outcomes. In relationships, emotional intelligence fosters deeper understanding and intimacy. It helps you communicate your needs clearly and listen actively. EQ equips you to navigate conflicts with empathy and calm, turning potential disputes into opportunities for growth. Leadership effectiveness is closely tied to emotional intelligence. Leaders who demonstrate high EQ inspire trust, motivate teams, and manage change skillfully. They recognize the emotional climate of their organizations and respond with sensitivity. This emotional attunement creates resilient and engaged workplaces. Emotional intelligence is also linked to stress management. Being in tune with your emotions allows you to detect early signs of stress and take proactive steps to maintain balance. Practices like exercise, adequate sleep, social support, and hobbies replenish your emotional reserves. Developing empathy requires stepping beyond your own perspective and actively seeking to understand diverse viewpoints. This openness enhances cultural competence and fosters inclusivity in teams and communities. Feedback, both giving and receiving, benefits from emotional intelligence. Constructive feedback delivered with empathy is more likely to be heard and acted upon. Receiving feedback with emotional maturity enables growth without defensiveness. EQ supports creativity by fostering a safe emotional environment where ideas can be expressed without fear of judgment. Emotional awareness helps manage the uncertainties and frustrations inherent in creative process. Building emotional intelligence involves continuous self-reflection and learning. Journaling, coaching, and therapy are effective tools for deepening emotional insight and developing new coping strategies. The ability to regulate emotions enhances resilience by preventing emotional overwhelm during crises. It strengthens your capacity to adapt and persist in the face of adversity. Emotional intelligence also plays a role in physical health. Chronic stress and unresolved emotions contribute to illness, while emotional well-being supports immune function and recovery. Social support networks are strengthened by emotional intelligence. Empathetic communication fosters and reciprocity, creating relationships that provide comfort and assistance during challenges. Digital communication demands EQ for interpreting tone and intent in the absence of face-to-face cues. Emotional literacy helps you navigate misunderstandings and maintain positive interactions online. Conflict resolution benefits from emotional intelligence by encouraging perspective, taking active listening, and collaborative problem-solving. EQ transforms conflicts from destructive battles into constructive dialogues. Parenting and education are enriched by emotional intelligence. Understanding and modeling emotional skills help children develop self-awareness, empathy, and social competence. Developing emotional intelligence requires patience and persistence. It is a lifelong journey of growth and self-discovery, deepening your connection to yourself and others. Practicing gratitude and positivity nurtures emotional well-being and broadens your perspective, positive psychological resources, and foster resilience. In sum, emotional intelligence empowers you to harness the power of emotions, transforming them from potential obstacles into invaluable allies. It shapes your capacity to connect, lead, and thrive in a complex world. As you cultivate EQ, you unlock a deeper understanding of yourself and others, paving the way for richer relationships and meaningful success. Time is the one resource that is equally distributed to every person on this planet. Each day, every individual receives the same 24 hours, no more, no less. Yet how differently those hours are utilized defines the vast disparities in success, fulfillment, and happiness among people. Time management is the critical skill that allows you to harness this finite resource, transforming minutes and hours into meaningful progress, growth, and achievement. It is not about squeezing more tasks into your day, but about mastering your priorities, focus, and energy to create the life you want. Understanding that time is precious forces a shift in perspective. It compels you to treat it with respect and intentionality. Time management starts with recognizing that how you spend your time directly shapes your outcomes. Wasting time on trivial distractions is the surest way to drift away from your goals, while deliberate investment of time accelerates your path to success. This awareness sparks the motivation to take control and optimize your daily actions. The foundation of effective time management is clarity. Clarity about your goals, values, and priorities. Without knowing what matters most, it is easy to get caught in a whirlwind of business that accomplishes little. Defining your purpose anchors your time decisions. When your daily activities align with your deepest values and long-term objectives, your time use becomes a powerful tool for fulfillment. Once your priorities are clear, the next step is planning. Planning your day, week, and month creates structure and direction. It transforms vague intentions into concrete actions. Scheduling blocks of time for specific tasks facilitation and distraction. Planning is not about rigidity, but about creating a roadmap that guides your efforts while aligning. Locus is the currency of productivity. In today's world, distractions abound. Notifications, social media, multitasking temptations. Mastering focus means learning to direct your attention fully to one task at a time. Deep work, periods of uninterrupted concentration on important tasks, leads to higher quality results in less time. Developing habits that support focus, such as setting boundaries, turning off distractions, and using techniques like the Pomodoro method, enhances your efficiency. Prioritization is essential to managing time wisely. Not all tasks are equally important or urgent. The ability to differentiate and allocate your energy accordingly prevents burnout and maximizes impact. Tools like the Eisenhower metrics help you categorize tasks by urgency and importance, enabling you to focus on what truly drives progress, rather than being reactive to minor demands. Time management also involves learning to say, boundaries protect your time from being consumed by others' priorities. Saying no is an act of self-respect and clarity about your goals. It empowers you to preserve time for what matters most and avoid overcommitment. Energy management complements time management. Your productivity is not just about hours, but about when and how you work. Recognizing your natural rhythms and scheduling demanding tasks during peak energy periods boosts effects. Incorporating breaks and self-care replenishes your mental and physical reserves, sustaining long-term performance. Delegation is a strategic time management skill. Recognizing tasks that others can handle frees you to focus on high-impact activities aligned with your strengths and goals. Effective delegation requires clear communication and trust, but multiplies your capacity. Technology can be both an asset and a distraction in time management. Tools like calendars, task managers, and automation apps streamline scheduling and task tracking. However, mindful use of technology is crucial to prevent digital overwhelm and maintain focus on priorities. Procrastination is a common obstacle to effective time management. It often stems from fear, perfectionism, or overwhelm. Overcoming procrastination involves breaking tasks into manageable steps, setting deadlines, and creating accountability. Understanding the underlying causes empowers you to develop personalized strategies to take action promptly. Review and reflection are vital practices. Regularly assessing how you spend your time reveals patterns, inefficiencies, and opportunities for improvement. Reflection fosters learning and adjustment, enabling you to optimize your routines continuously. Goal setting drives purposeful time use. SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, provide clarity and motivation. Breaking larger goals into smaller milestones creates a sense of progress and momentum. Mindfulness enhances time management by cultivating present moment awareness. Being fully engaged in each activity reduces wasted time and increases satisfaction. Mindful time management balances productivity with well-being. Stress management supports effective time use. Chronic stress impairs focus, decision-making, and energy. Incorporating relaxation techniques, physical activity, and social support helps maintain balance and resilience. Flexibility is necessary to adapt to unforeseen demands and changes. While planning is essential, being too rigid leads to frustration. Learning to adjust plans gracefully maintains productivity without unnecessary stress. Continuous learning and improvement characterize mastery of time management. Experimenting with different techniques, seeking feedback, and staying curious help you discover what works best for you. Effective communication of your time boundaries and priorities improves collaboration and reduces interruptions. Clear expectations with colleagues and family create supportive environments for focused work. The ability to manage time well contributes significantly to work-life balance. It allows you to dedicate quality time to relationships, hobbies, and rest, supporting overall happiness and health. Time management fosters self-discipline, the commitment to follow through on plans, and resist save. This discipline is a key predictor of success and personal growth. Your relationship with time shapes your mindset. Viewing time as an ally rather than an enemy encourages proactive behavior and optimism. This positive relationship fuels motivation and reduces anxiety about deadlines. Time management enhances creativity by creating space for reflection, exploration, and idea generation. Scheduling unstructured time nurtures innovation and problem-solving. Accountability partners or mentors provide support in managing time effectively. Sharing goals and progress increases commitment and offers encouragement. The practice of gratitude for time itself. Appreciating each moment as a gift shifts perspective and enriches your experience of life. Mastering time management is a journey, not a one-time fix. It requires patience, self-compassion, and persistence. Each day presents opportunities to refine your approach and deepen your mastery. By investing in your time management skills, you take control of your most precious resource. You unlock greater productivity, fulfillment, and freedom to live intentionally and purposefully.